Hello, my wonderful people, my viewers and subscribers all over the world. Good afternoon to you all. I don't land again. I don't land like Land Rover. Now me, my name never changes. I still remain your one and only Okute Daily Talk. Please, before we proceed with other merriment, make when I hear this breaking news and special announcement. MAZI Simon EKPA, the self-acclaimed the Prime Minister of Biafran Republic in Exile, announces virtual tour with Biafrans abroad. Now this one be our point news. And another news that we have here before we continue with the other things. 30 years after a shocking revelation about June 12th annulment. A shocking revelation. Today marks it, this month marks it 30 years. What happened in June of 1993 repeated itself in June, okay, let's say in the year of 2023. Why did I say so? It is a two different ball game. June 1993 was annulment because the person that won the election is not who they have chosen to rule. The cabals. Then coming 2023, it's still the same problem. The person that the majority of the voters goes to, the choice of the people, are not being selected simply because he is not among the cabals or the decision makers or those ones who think that this country belongs to them and their entire generation. That is, you see the two different things. That is how we play out. So my wonderful people, when I see this news about MAZI Simon EKPA tour and this 30 years after the shocking revelation about June 12th annulment, we are going to do what? We are going to take this news one after the other. It is going to be a gradual process, but be rest assured that we must surely get to our destination. So we are not going to rush it from the news of MAZI Simon EKPA to this of June 12th MKO Abiola's matter. So when I go do what? When I will calm down, listen to it because there is a lot to learn from it. Please do not say the issue of Abiola does not concern you or concern any member of your family, but there's a lot of wisdom and a lot of lessons to learn from it. So if it not happen to you today, tomorrow, it might be your turn. So that is why it is necessary you listen to this news, share it, let it go viral for every news and crannies of the Biafra land, both home and people in diaspora. So please, make on attention and a seatbelt as we are about to take off now. I beg you subscribe to my channel, like my content, share it, and make sure that you keep on subscribing. All the very, very important. So please, let's go straight to the reason why we are here this morning. A popular Biafran agitator and separatist, Simon EKPA, has announced a virtual tour of Biafrans abroad. EKPA, Finland lawyer and the Prime Minister of Biafran Republic in Exile, disclosed this on Sunday through his official Twitter handle. He noted that the virtual tour will commence on Sunday by 10 p.m. Biafran time. According to him, all of us of freedom or all of us of Biafra are expected to join this tour. EKPA added that the United States of America is the venue of the tour. In another development, EKPA announced that each first Biafra embassy will be opened in Jerusalem immediately it becomes an independent state. The first Biafra embassy will be opened in Jerusalem immediately Biafra becomes an independent state, he wrote on his Twitter handle. So, on Yaram, for my brothers and sisters out there, the Biafran brothers and Biafran families, both home and the diaspora, when I don't hear the news, if you are in the diaspora and you are watching those axes, I beg you, make you join our self-acclaimed Prime Minister to the tour. I don't know what he's touring for. Are you touring to do campaign for election or what? I don't even understand this Finland man, because you cannot call him a Biafran man or a Nigerian man. This man is typically a Finland man. Somebody who keep us forcing us to observe it at home on Mondays. But have he ever for one day give us a video where he sits at home with his family and close out their businesses on Mondays? If you like, insult me. If you like, castigate me. If you like, bring a threat to my life. But I must keep on doing what I know how to do. To say the truth, nothing but the truth. To give you a news that will make your heart to justify, not something that will make your heart to tremble. So make gonna do what? Make gonna stop this follow system of this thing, lifestyle that we Igbos are living. I beg. In the other hand, though, let us go and expatiate about the 30 years after shocking revelation about the June 12th annulment of MK Abiola's winning. So please, do not touch the dial. We are here to give you the better news of today. Exactly 30 years after the June 12th presidential election was annulled, Nigerians need to know that this happened when General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida was military president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The move to cancel the presidential election, which Nigerians describe as the most credible election, did not start hours before the election but months before the electoral process. According to Vanguard, the move started with one association for better Nigeria, APN, led by the late Francis Aton-Zeribe and one Abimbola Davis. Deadline Abuja, 9:35 p.m. Thursday, July 10 of 1993. Justice Basi Ikpeme chose that hour to launch her voyage into infamy. Though it was an interlocutory application filed by the ABN, Ikpeme apparently over-mobilized and over-indulged, made a final pronouncement, and this was in a flagrant disregard of the provisions of Section 19, subsection 1 of Decree 13 of 1993. Please make one calm down, because this one is not going to be a usual or normal news that halfway, but this one I have to read everything completely. So if you are reading it, you want to know exactly what happened on the 1993. Maybe you are born then, or you are not yet born before then, I have not followed the history. Please look at the history. It's what I'm about to tell you in details. You can listen to it. You can as well log on to www.nigerianews.com to find the original news and do what? And read it by yourself. In a 2018 report published in Vanguard and written by Richard Akinola, a veteran law and human rights reporter, the plaintiff in the case, Davis, on behalf of the ABN, had alleged electoral corruption on the part of the Social Democratic Party SDP candidate Bashirun MKO Abiola. Abiola was contesting against Bashiri Tofa of the National Republican Convention NRC at the SDP primaries in Jos between March 27 and 29, 1993. Before her ruling ex parte at 9:35 that night, there was flurries of activities between Justice Ikpeme's court chambers and the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, occupied by Clementi Abambo. Wahala. This name don't be here, leading to the postponement of the ruling from the morning till night. In the ruling, Justice Ikpeme not only stopped the election but also got carried away by the interests he wanted to serve by making a final pronouncement on the case, even at the interlocutory level. The allegations ABN leveled against some of the state governors or state governments at the primaries Justice Ikpeme held were the greatest shame in the history of Nigerian politics. For a judge to make this outlandish statement at the ex parte stage of the case, when the other party, the National Electoral Commission NEC, had not been heard, exposed the judicial conspiracy in the whole saga. How the confusion takes start? Confusion cradled the nation in its hands. The NEC, which is the INEC of now, promptly issued a statement disregarding the court order, stating that the election would go on as scheduled. Meanwhile, NEC filed a counter affidavit that the jurisdiction of the court had been ousted by Section 19, subsection 1 of the Decree 13 of the 1993. According to one of the senior officials of NEC, the Commission's leadership had paid a visit to Aso Rock Presidential Villa earlier that fateful day to brief the government on its preparedness to hold the said election. Upon arriving at the villa, according to the very senior NEC official, a member of the National Defense Security Council, NDSC, the nation's highest ruling body at that time, asked us what we came to do at the villa, and we told him we were there to brief government about our preparations for the said elections. He simply asked, "Oh, is there going to be an election?" It was not until 9:35 that night that the accidental event of the morning resonated in the consciousness of the NEC officials. The ABN was suspected to have been backing off a section of the NDSC. Indeed, it had Bashirun Abiola paid more than passing attention to the activities of the ABN. Perhaps Davis may not have appeared in court that Thursday morning. One of the Abiola's associates disclosed to Vanguard that Davis was in touch with them and that he kept them abreast of the plans of the ABN and how Abiola could checkmate them. While some merely suspected that the government of that day was behind ABN, a few insiders were aware of Aton Zeribe's visit to Asorok, where he got briefings. But many saw the plot as being too odoriferous to be evacuated until the late night court order. And although the late Augustus Aikome, who was then vice president, did issue statements that the transition program did not have a hidden agenda and that the government was going to keep its promise to hold elections and hand over in 1993, the events of June 10, 1993 began to cast doubts over his sincerity. Section 19, subsection 1 of the Decree 13 of 1993, in addition to the transition to civil rule decree of 1987 and 1988, specifically altered the intervention of the courts in the affairs of the NEC, which is the INEC of today. But that did not matter to the cabal of that era, which included but was not limited to the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice, and the National Security Chief, along with a handful of greedy politicians who used the instrumentality of the ABN to disrupt the process. For if the government of the day was not involved, why would an association be threatening the major government program which was meant to lead to a handover to the civilian administration? Yet, there was never a rebuke from any government official against ABN. Not even a whimper against what ABN was doing in the land. A learned legal luminary drew attention to the fact that in 1993 alone, over 103 decrees were promulgated to regulate elections. Now that the government, which went to great lengths to guide its transition program with that much legislation, would allow a subversive body to ambush it speaks to the evil that resides in the heart of men and women. Details of what turned out on Saturday, June 12 of 1993. Please calm down because the story might be long, but there's a lot to learn from it. But the elections were held on Saturday, June 12 of 1993 against all expectations by the schemers. There was no rain, there was no reports of violence or election rigging, and if there were, they were so inconsequential to warrant a reportage because Nigerians were willing to put up with this about anything to ensure the exit of the military era. Interim result on Sunday, June 14, 1993 showed Abiola leading with an overwhelming majority in 19 states, with NRC had a clear majority of 11 states. Wednesday, June 16, 1993, NEC declared that it had decided not to release the final result of the presidential election until further notice, as the ABN had once again taken NEC to court and asked Abuja High Court injunction had been served to restrain the NEC from announcing the said results. No be today Nigeria sport. Nigeria have been bad since long time immemorial. Even before we switch to democracy, Nigeria have long gone. Thursday, June 17, 1993, following popular demands for the results, 2 court orders reversed the commission's decision not to publish the election result, and the Lagos High Court judge, Justice Moshood Olagbeni, ordered NEC to release the result within the next 24 hours. Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti, the chairman of the Campaign for Democracy, issued an ultimatum to NEC to release the result within 24 hours, or the CD will do so by themselves. Friday, June 18 of 1993, the Campaign for Democracy released the election result and declared Moshood Abiola the winner of the election on the same day. Moshood Abiola reportedly went on television to claim his victory. Events that happened on Wednesday, June 23, 1993. The results were mounted on a scoreboard outside the commission's building, but within its compound, so that people who were just passing by on the street will be updated with the latest results as and when they were certified to be correct, counted and collated, and the agents agreeing and affirming the authenticity of the said results. Alas, after about 8 of the results from the states have been put on the scoreboard, an order came from the election committee that the scoreboard should be brought down and removed. The committee had the INEC chairman, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, the chief returning officer, the resident electoral commissioners of the respective results, national commissioners, and the representatives of the 2 political parties. What transpired was that within the NEC, or the INEC of today, there were moles who keep feeding Asorok presidential villa of development within the commission. It was from the villa that the instruction came that the scoreboard should be removed, but that was just the beginning of the whole thing. Events took a frantic turn later that day. However, Justice Dahiru Saleh, Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Abuja, declared the election null and void, allegedly because the NEC had ignored a first late night injunction of Basi EKPA not to conduct the polls on the same day. The government made an announcement cancelling the elections and suspending NEC at the same time. The final truth that suggested that the government of the day are choosing to break the back of Nwosu and NEC, as well as gave the game away, was the warrant, and judgment by the Salai was served on NEC by the then Attorney General Akpambo, so there was nobody to run to. The Attorney General would have been the one NEC could have approached, but here he was serving NEC with an order. He also told Nwosu that if he disobeyed, he would be on his own. NEC Director of Legal Service, Bukari Bello, very intelligent and strong-willed, went on to appeal the judgment. And while he was at the point of getting a judgment, the government announced the suspension of NEC and the transition program, and that meant that the court was no longer in position to take any decision because it was going to act in vain. So, my great people, when I don't hear how this thing play out, why I brought this news to our hearing is simply because people start to think that Nigeria started today to spoil. Let me tell you the gospel truth. A lot of people who spoiled this country started the year back, or if they are not the ones, their children are still the ones ruling the country today. Yes, because if you go to the history or trajectory of all these things, you will find out that all these our so-called Hausa Fulanis, their forefathers have been in this government, the lives of Osman Danfodio and the rest of them. They are the one that is causing all the whole problem we are facing today. You will find out that these people can never stop because this thing is going from blood to blood. It's going from hand to hand. When someone is let's take the lives of this small maggot, where they call El-Rufai. All his sons and daughters now, all of them are in the government house. A corruption himself. bringing another corruption into the system. Because now there's an adage that says in Igbo language that onye na ya dị ohi na-eji okwu were agbawa ụzọ. If your father send you to steal or train you to be a robber, you may be the highest robber. Even if your father is robbing with a toy gun, you will be robbing with a what they call ubunigwe. That is exactly the point I'm trying to make here. People who made this country spoil today are the ones that fought Biafra, the one that that started all these shenanigans in government house. They are the cabals we are talking about today. They have long gone, but their children are still the ones controlling the affairs of the nation. So tell me how the country want to be good. Anyway, well, I have just done my part. Your own part is do what? To share the message to each and everyone out there. I won't comment on presidential election now. This one is Edwin Clark. Okay, I'm waiting to see the outcome of what they said the so-called president will do or not do. Anyway, Sha, you have your own opinion because nobody will force you to vomit what is inside your mouth or inside your mind. Elder statesman and the joint leader, Chief Edwin Clark, says he will only comment on the Bola Tinubu's presidency after the conclusion of the election petition tribunal, where the outcome of the forward 25th presidential poll is being challenged. Speaking in Abuja ahead of the 30th anniversary of the annulment of June 12th presidential election, Clark said, "I don't want to comment on that because the election tribunals are still sitting." He added that he did not want to make statements that were prejudicial. Recall that Clark supported and endorsed P2B, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, who emerged third in the election and has gone to the election petition tribunal to challenge the declaration of Tinubu as the poll's winner. On June 12th, according to Clark, the government must ensure a peaceful country where citizens were guaranteed equality before the law in all spheres of life. He expressed desire that Nigerians live in a country that is peaceful, that is free from crisis, security and economic challenges, and low corruption level for the development of all, irrespective of any differences. He lamented, corruption in the country is so high, which I have always said since 2014, that the government should declare a state of emergency on corruption. He noted that the rate at which corruption is going on in the country is terrible, regretting that it has come to a situation where every arm of government cannot be trusted unless or cannot do anything unless they siphon money. Clark added that there should be no promotion of a particular religion over and above others. According to him, when they were in the 2014 National Conference, they made a lot of recommendations for the survival of Nigeria as a country. He emphasized a united country free from crisis where all the citizens are equal before the law and any of them can rise to any positions, according to Edwin Clark. I will fulfill every promise made to Nigerians during the campaign, according to Alhaji Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has promised to diligently fulfill every component of his electoral promises during the electionary campaign to Nigerians. Tinubu made a promise on Monday in his maiden Democracy Day address to Nigerians as president, Nigeria News reports. He also vowed that his administration will be faithful to truth, equality, and justice, adding that his government will exercise its authority and mandate to govern with fairness, respect for the rule of law, and commitment to always uphold the dignity of all Nigerians. He said, "On my part and that of my administration, I pledge our commitment to diligently fulfill every component of our electoral pact with people, the renowned Hope Agenda. We shall be faithful to the truth, faithful to equity, and faithful to justice. We shall exercise our authority and mandate to govern with fairness, respect for the rule of law, and commitment to always uphold the dignity of all our people," according to Alhaji Tinubu. On this note, I wish us all a happy Democracy Day celebration and pray that the light of liberty shall never be extinguished in our land. Tinubu also enjoined all Nigerians to eradicate themselves to strengthening this form of government of free peoples that has been the guiding light these past 24 good years. He also asked the elected public officials at various levels in both the executive and the legislative arms of the government to recommit themselves to offering selfless service to the people and deliver concrete democracy dividends in accordance with their electoral promises. He added, on this year's Democracy Day, I enjoin us all to rededicate ourselves to strengthening this form of government of free people that has been our guiding light these past 24 years. In particular, those of us who have been privileged to be elected into public offices at various levels in both the executive and legislative arm of the government must recommit ourselves to offering selfless service to the people and delivering concrete democracy dividends in accordance with our electoral promises, according to Alhaji Tinubu. Wonders shall never end. Make una hear wetin the Twitter owner, the world richest man, Elon Musk, reveals plan to hire a witchcraft. Twitter owner Elon Musk has revealed his plan to hire a vice president of witchcraft and propaganda for the platform. The world richest man disclosed this in a tweet on Sunday night. Musk said he had already begun searching for someone who would suit that role. He wrote, looking to hire a vice president of witchcraft and propaganda. Daily Post recalled that Elon Musk last month announced Linda Yakario as the new chief executive officer of Twitter. He said Yakario would focus primarily on business operations, while he would oversee product design and the new technology. This one is coming from Elon Musk, the world richest. According to Governor Bala Mohammed, what did he say? He said, forget all that happened during 2023 election, Governor Bala says on Democracy Day. That is how we keep on forgetting since 1999. Look at where we are at this point in time. Where we say the old fools who started this democracy, they don't want to give up. They keep on siphoning this country until when this country collapses, then everybody will disappear. The executive governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, has appealed to citizens of his state to forget whatever may have happened during the 2023 general elections and join hands to work together in the state's best interest. The People's Democratic Party PDP chieftain made a call on Monday, June 12, in his goodwill message on the occasion of the 2023 Democracy Day, Nigeria News reports. Mohammed declared that celebrating the 24th Democracy Day in Nigeria is a pointer to the fact that democracy governance has not only been firmly rooted but has also come to stay in the country. According to him, since Bauchi is the only state the citizens can call theirs, it is necessary to put behind them every event during the electionary campaigns and collectively work for its economic, social, and political development. We owe the current and the future generations the duty of making Bauchi State a better place to live in. We cannot afford to do otherwise, as posterity will not forgive us, the governor said. Are you sure you are saying the truth? Remember, karma is real. Mohammed said, there is no better alternative to democracy as a form of government that gives the people the right to choose who governs them and how they want to be governed. Are you sure? Did the people really choose you? Make gonna use on a hand, they bring on herself out. It is this democratic right of choice that puts elected governments at both the national and state levels on their toes so as not to incur the wrath of the electorate by being voted out of power during periodic elections. Governor Mohammed said, submitting that his re-election for a second term in office is a testimony of the confidence reposed in his administration by the people of the state, following the execution of various development projects for their socio-economic well-being in his first term. Mohammed then extended a hand of friendship to those that contested against him in the March 18 governorship election in the state, saying that in the spirit of sportsmanship, they should join hands with him in the task of taking the state to greater heights. Governor Mohammed said the new mandate given to him by the people of the state was a challenge to prove that his performance during the last 4 years was not a fluke, and assured that he would prove that he had a plan to continue to work for the betterment of the socio-economic conditions of the people of Bauchi State. Are you sure? How much is your debt in that Bauchi State, if I may ask you? Indeed, our intention is to positively make a difference in the lives and the livelihood of our compatriots, and at the end of it all, to leave the state a much better place than we found it, the governor said. Mohammed, while assuring the inclusiveness would continue to be high mark of his administration, also assured that the various segments of the state will be carried along with a view to giving them a sense of belongings, according to them. June 12, our able President Alhaji Tinubu, he don't come out. Wetin he talk say June 12 celebration, Tinubu names heroes of this our democracy. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has hailed some personalities who fought for the democracy of the nation and participated in the struggle to enthrone democracy. In his Maiden Democracy Day address to Nigerians on Monday, President Tinubu said these Nigerians stood for principles that are far more valuable than life themselves. The president named Chief MKO Abiola, who is the acclaimed winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, as a matter of democracy and the custodian of the sacred mandate that was so cruel annulled. Tinubu also named the wife of Chief MKO Abiola, Kudirat Abiola, Pa Alfred Rewani, and Major General Shehu Yaradua, retired, are the heroes of the independence struggle and paid the ultimate price in the process. He said, "We can easily recall the sacrifice and martyrdom of Chief MKO Abiola, the custodian of the sacred mandate that was so cruelly annulled. He sacrificed his life in unyielding patriotic defense of the idols of democracy, as symbolized in his choice by his fellow countrymen and women as their duly elected president. There was an easier choice for him. It was to forgo the justice of his cause and opt for the path of ease and capitulation in the face of a tyranny of power. To his eternal credit and immortal glory, Abiola said no. He demonstrated the time-tested eternal truth that there are certain ideals and principles that are far more valuable than life itself. Every day on this day down the ages, we will recall that several other heroes of democracy, such as Kudirat Abiola, wife of Chief MKO Abiola, who was brutally murdered while in the trenches fighting on the side of the people. We remembered Pa Alfred Rewani, one of the heroes of our independence struggle, and Major General Shehu Yaradua, retired, who were silenced by the military junta while in pursuit of democracy. They gave their yesterday for the liberty that is ours today, according to Alhaji Ahmed Bola Tinubu. So my wonderful people, now here we go take back our car and I go with the go so. Make on the job on a day. Bye for now. KMSC.